All right, 5:32, we'll call this meeting to order. Madam City Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Thank you, ma'am. Mayor Kelly Creeps.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Robert Parkhurst.
Here.
Councilmember Edward Garcia.
Here.
Councilmember Jean Goss.
Here.
And Councilmember Christine Lowe.
Present.
Madam Mayor, you have a quorum this evening.
Thank you very much. I believe, Mayor Pro Tem, you're leading us this evening.
I am. So if you could join me, if you're able to stand. Oh, yes, the flag got moved over here. So, all right. And ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excellent. So this last weekend it was the beginning of autumn, and made me start thinking about October, and in kind of preparing for the meeting, I did a little bit of research, and October is going to be National Crime Prevention Month and Fire Prevention Month, and so these are two things, and I imagine the mayor is going to talk about some of the events that we will have this month. But just a couple of thoughts on both of those. National Crime Prevention Month is a month to promote safety and security in communities and to encourage people to take a proactive role in crime prevention. Some of the safety tips that the National Crime Prevention Council, which works with local organizations, has for our residents is to be aware of your surroundings. When you're coming and going places, be aware of your surroundings. There is the common saying, I think most of us have seen, is if you see something, say something. When you are traveling, always, especially at night, look into traveling into well-lit areas. And the same thing is at your home. And make sure that your entrances have good lighting, places where you enter and leave the house. Not just from a safety perspective all the way around, right? From trips, slips, and falls to also having anyone that may be hiding there in the unlikely event that is. And then the final thing on crime prevention is just making sure your doors and windows have functioning closures and locks. From a fire prevention perspective, Fire Prevention Month, a couple of the safety tips that came up for me was turning off space heaters when you're leaving a room. Be aware of not to overload circuits. Keep candles away from work areas and flammable things. And small smoke detectors on every level of your home, inside bedrooms and outside sleeping areas. And if those are battery powered, test those smoke detectors monthly. Use only UL approved devices so that they don't catch fire. And while you're doing that smoke alarm detection or smoke alarm testing, take a look at your fire extinguishers in your kitchen and other cooking areas. And with that, Madam Mayor, I turn it back to you.
Great, thank you so much. Next on our agenda is approval of the agenda.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, please.
I noticed on the agenda there is an item for the approval of the September 10th, 2024 meeting minutes, and those were not included in our agenda packet, so I would recommend amending the agenda to strike that item.
Okay.
I have another, or do we do all at one?
We can do it together.
I have another motion to amend the certificate of recognition of Sierra Madre Girls Softball 14 and under team until, kind of floating until they get here around 6:30.
Perfect. All right, thank you. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Agenda altered. I would also entertain a motion to approve for reading resolutions and ordinance by title only.
So, second?
No, you have to
Did you
move.
say so moved? So moved?
And then a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Low, motion,
First.
second, Goss.
Thank you. I definitely made an error.
She tried to be both. So now we're skipping the meeting minute approval and moving on to mayor and city council reports. Who would like to go first? It was a busy 2 weeks.
It was a busy 2 weeks. I'll try to make this as fast as possible. Back on September 11th, I had the honor of attending the 9/11 memorial at the fire station, which was put on by our fire and police departments. It was a somber event, fittingly, and certainly a powerful and poignant reminder of the sacrifices that our country made on 9/11, and was well done, of course, as usual. Our transportation subcommittee met on the 11th as well, and we had our second and final interview of contractors, this time with a company called Transdev, and for transportation services here in the city. We had a very thorough interview of them. We went over their proposal in a very detailed proposal in a very thorough way. They actually sent executives from Houston, Dallas, and Sacramento to meet with us, so they're very serious about doing business with the city. Tomorrow is our next meeting, and we will be making some decisions in that meeting about who the contractor that we want to use and potential routes for the new services. So tomorrow's kind of a big day for that committee. I was honored to attend the State of the City address the next day on the 12th, and our mayor did a wonderful job of laying out the state of the city of Sierra Madre at the fire station, which I think was unprecedented. It was really a cool event. And then last week, we all had the honor of going to the library and attending the groundbreaking of for our new library. We got to put the hard hats on, and got our shovels out and for pictures of getting that whole project started. There were some dignitaries from the state. It was quite the affair. It was a very fitting beginning to that momentous project. On the 19th, I attended the Foothill Employment Policy Board meeting. Our chair apparently was late to the meeting, so as vice chair, I chaired the meeting, and not a whole lot to report except that board is looking for a business, both a profit or nonprofit business, to join their workforce development board. They suggested that maybe Sierra Madre might recruit someone. So I'm kind of asking staff tonight if we could maybe communicate with our Chamber of Commerce and see if we can find some interested parties. That might be beneficial to them and maybe to our city. And later that day, I attended the Council of Government meeting in Monrovia. Not a whole lot to report from that meeting, though they are having their 30th anniversary party the end of the month. I want to say it's the 30th. I was struggling to find the date right before the meeting, but you can look it up at their website. And if I'm invited, and I think anybody from our city council is invited to go to that as well. So that's all I got.
Great, thank you. Who would like to go next? Councilmember Lowe?
Sure, I can go next. On 9/11, I also attended the memorial event at Station 41, and it was the 23rd year of the event, and I just want to say it was interesting too, because I was talking with a few others that when we were on the department, that was my first year of being a firefighter when it happened, and it just, like, so much has changed then, and just remembering and never forgetting what happened on that momentous day that changed our nation. That night, I did not attend, I didn't have time to attend the La Cañada Bear meeting that our Bear Society people and our bear lovers will be here. I'd be here tonight to announce some other things, but I just wanted to say that our community is doing great outreach to try to bring in the other cities to what we're experiencing and to try to get them on board. So thank you for La Cañada for hosting that. And then the State of the City, of course, on 9/12 was awesome, was really an awesome event. I attended the Madre de la Rosa Mass for their 100th anniversary, and we'll talk about that in a little bit later. That was on 9/15. And the town hall meeting for Measure PS was on 9/18, and I know Mayor Pro Tem might allude to some of that, but it was a very, very informative meeting. We really, really encourage everybody to attend the next one, which is going to be on October 10th. So that would be a great event. And then Planning Commission had a great meeting this last week, was 9/19. They are bringing online our new online permitting system and our online business licensing system. So everyone will be able to use an online system to both get their permits, check on their permits, also renew and purchase their business licenses. So it's going to be pretty exciting. And then also they pre-approved plans for ADUs, and they just chose the 400 square foot model, bless you, that is also the same one that the COG is using. So it was a really good discussion. It was a good meeting, and it's exciting.
Thank you. Councilmember Garcia?
Sure. I have a short report, Madam Mayor. I don't want to add too much to what's already been said, but I did attend the September 11th memorial at at Fire Station 41, always a moving event. And I did attend your State of the City address in that same building the very next day. It was unseasonably cool and breezy, and the audio was great. All things I was very surprised at. But I wasn't surprised that you gave a phenomenal address, Madam Mayor. It was really highlighting not only just the high points of our city, but what struggles we have going forward as well. So thank you for that. And I also attended the library groundbreaking on September 17th. It was a full house. We didn't have enough chairs for everybody, and we had a lot of chairs. So it was encouraging to see so many community members, state officials, county officials, everybody there to support that monumentous groundbreaking, and we look forward to moving forward with that project. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
So yeah, I think all of us were at very similar events. So I was also at the 9/11 reflection, the Transportation Committee meeting. I don't have anything to add to those. The State of the City, you did a phenomenal job, Madam Mayor, and I want to thank all staff for all of the setup and all of that, making that such a successful event. So that was really good, and it was fun being the MC of it, so I appreciated that role. On the 16th of September, I attended the Community Services meeting, and our Community Services manager reported out on some of our activities, our summer activities, and he doubled the attendance at our Friday movie nights and our Sunday concerts in the park. So for someone who has very recently joined us, has already shown some incredible opportunities, so some incredible results. At the groundbreaking from the library, the only thing I will add to what others said is that the library puts together killer swag bags. This is the hard hat that they give us, the keychain that's 3D printed with the date on it. This is really cool, so kudos to them for that and everything else that they did in making that a incredible event. Some of the unique things that I did on September 18th, I met with the CEO of Southern California Edison. In the good news department, in meeting with them, they've replaced about half of all the bare lines with covered conductors. That's more than 950 miles in LA County. That's really important from a fire safety perspective. So those lines where there are large wildfire risks are now covered, and the chances of those creating a fire is less. Now, the equipment can still create a fire, but at least the lines aren't. So that's really good. They've also increased their vegetation inspections and installed weather cameras and stations to get early alerts on fires. In the not-so-good department, I think we've all seen that the transmission portion of the bills we receive have increased significantly in the past 5 years. The CEO was willing to acknowledge that and to talk about that, and sometimes that's been increasing by double-digit percentages. We're hoping to see that change in the future. I'm going to monitor that closely, but it's a real challenge, and it's something that I want to pay some more attention to out in the future. As Councilmember Lowe mentioned, we had a public safety town hall here on the 18th as well. I want to thank all the staff for being here to answer questions from the community. It was well attended. It was also another opportunity I got to play MC to try to get that information out. On the 19th of September, the Historical Society met. Nothing really to report from that meeting. It was a good meeting, well attended. And then I'll close with the Clean Power Alliance. We had meetings on the September 19th and the 23rd. And one of the meetings was about contracts coming up for renewable energy. And one of the exciting things is that the Clean Power Alliance is close to procuring the amount of renewable energy that we need for the next several years. So we're looking at reliability now and some other things, but the amount of renewables that we need, we're close to meeting our targets. So, and that's all I have to report.
Thank you very much. As you can see, there was a lot of council togetherness over the last couple of weeks because we were all at many events together. So I will not add much to the litany. I also participated in the 9/11 ceremony, obviously as at the State of the City. And I just wanted to do two things with respect to that. Encourage folks to find it on our website and on YouTube. The entire event was recorded and uploaded, or will be uploaded if not already. And then two things. One, I want to correct an omission, and it was a unfortunate omission given the venue and the comments of Councilmember Garcia about how amazing the setup, the audio, the PowerPoint, and I went through all of the departments in the city and somehow neglected the IT department. And so I felt very bad about it, especially given how much work they did for the actual state of the city, and of course all the work that they do every day for all things in our city having to do with public communications, with the website and all of our security measures and just keeping the city running and on their computers. So belatedly, thank you very much for all, and I think they have some projects coming up, so I'm hopeful that in next year's State of the City they will be a featured part. I also wanted to highlight, we had two amazing Sierra Madre youth performances, a wonderful rendition of the a cappella of the Star Spangled Banner for the opening, and then we had a very nice Spanish guitar presentation from a young Sierra Madrean. So it was really great to see how much talent we have in our youth in town. I attended the Madre de la Rosa anniversary dinner briefly with Councilmember Lowe, and the library groundbreaking was really amazing. So many great remarks, actually. I would say, from folks who are not, there were great remarks from people, here in Sierra Madre, but also just really impressed by the passion that some of the folks from out of town had for our project. Obviously, Assemblymember Holden was there, and his being such a key part in securing the funding, had great things to say, as did representatives of the State Library Foundation, and also the library, a representative of the State Librarian himself. And so, yeah, and our State Treasurer was there and brought one of those big checks. It wasn't cashable, apparently, but but it will be in spirit. So anyway, that was a really great event, and kudos to all staff, and particularly the Library and Public Works for pulling that together. And then I attended the library trustees meeting last night as the alternate, and it was a great meeting. Similarly to the community services, was a overview of all of the activities that the library put on this summer, and it is just mind-boggling, particularly given their temporary quarters that they have just plowed on with all of the amazing programming without a hitch. So many activities, volunteer opportunities for our teens, just such a great resource for our town, and just another example of why this rehabilitation program for our library is so important. And then today I visited the Kensington for Margaret Herndon's 100th birthday. So kind of the other end of our youth talent is our senior talent. So it was a really great event and fun to see the way that the Kensington celebrates their residents. Okay, and then in terms of announcements, there's actually quite a number of senior-related announcements as well. So first, we want to remind everyone about the Community Development Block Grant Program that we recently approved, which offers grants to eligible low and moderate income senior residents, meaning above age 55. And this is to fund minor rehabilitation projects in your home to improve health and safety standards and mobility, such as walk-in showers or ramps or railings. The grants are available on a first-come, first-served basis based on funding availability, and there are flyers in the back of the room for people who are interested, and I think also probably information on the city's website. Another reminder that seniors 60 and above can participate in our lunch program held at the Hart Park House just here. Meals are served Monday through Thursday at 11:30. Folks are asked to come by about 11:15, and there's a suggested donation of $3 for seniors or $5 for non-senior guests, and there are no reservations required, and I believe on Thursday they offer a second meal to take home for the Friday and over the weekend. Also, they celebrate our seniors' birthday month with cake and ice cream at the Hart Park House every fourth Tuesday at 12:30. So I think the fourth Tuesday is coming up, so all of the September birthday folks should come to celebrate their birthday. Next Tuesday is the first. It would have been today. So for October, let's remember that the last Tuesday of the month probably is the October birthday celebration. Coming up more recently is the Community Bike Ride and Wellness Fair this coming Saturday, October 5th, from 8 a.m. to 12 at Memorial Park. I believe there's a bike ride starting around 8, as well as then the Wellness Fair here at the park. And the police and fire department will be at the Wellness Fair and sponsoring a blood drive from 8:30 to 12:30. And you can call 1-800-879-4484 to make an appointment for that. I suspect they will also take walk-ups if that's available. And to piggyback on Mayor Pro Tem's point about October being Public Safety Month, essentially, I just wanted to highlight 2 things from my State of the City around public safety. Our fire department averages a 4-minute, 5-second response time, which is extremely quick, especially when you compare to our surrounding areas. And with our police department, we have had a decrease in major crimes from 340 to a projected 280 over the last year, from 2023 to 2024. So our public safety departments are really doing a great job in serving our public safety needs. Okay, those are the announcements.
And the meeting is on October 10th again.
Oh, yes, and then, yeah, the second town hall related to the public safety initiative that will be on the ballot will be here at City Hall at 6 p.m. on October 10th. Okay, and then, so I think we will take public comment on items not on the agenda. And just as a reminder, we welcome and invite your participation, but we ask that you do not disrupt the orderly conduct of our meeting. And if you do, I will warn you. And if you continue, you may be asked to leave. And on that note, I will open it up for public comment for items that are not on the agenda.
Madam Mayor, the City Clerk's office did receive some emails regarding items that, one email specifically for items not on the agenda, and that was forwarded to the City Council earlier today and will be posted onto the city's website shortly. There are 2 yellow speaker cards that were received in advance of this meeting, and the first one is from Brandon Stansel, and the second speaker will then be Michelle Tremblay.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Thank you for the invitation. My name is Brandon Stansel with Athens Services, and I am here to announce our free compost event next Saturday on October 5th from 8 to 12 p.m. City residents will need their ID to receive the compost. We ask that you bring shovels and study containers. No plastic bags or cardboard boxes allowed. We are doing drive-up only while supplies last. No containers larger than 32 gallons. And please just make sure you have some gloves or eye protection when you're digging up the compost. So again, that will be October 5th from 8 to 12. And that's literally next Saturday. And the location, I'm sorry, is Sierra Vista Park. Okay, thank you so much.
So if you hadn't noticed, next Saturday is quite the busy day. In addition to the composting giveaway, the wellness fair, the bike ride, the Friends of the Library is also hosting a wine tasting fundraiser that evening, and I think there's at least 2 other things going on, so buckle up. Next.
We have 3 actually speaker cards. The next for Michelle Tremblay, and then following that will be Layla Regan, our city's librarian.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, residents and guests. My name is Michelle Tremblay, and I'm the founder and president of Bear Lovers of Sierra Madre. We're a nonprofit organization committed to keeping people safe and bears wild in and around our beautiful community. I wanted to make a comment on a recent LA Times article regarding the Sierra Madre empty house and long-standing neighbor complaints of strong odors, rotting foods, bear feces, and several witnessed bear intrusions into the home and or the shed on the property. According to the article, since 2019, the city officials have sent the homeowner multiple notices to no avail, and I want to commend the city for taking action related to the inspection and abatement warrant. As a result, the property was cleared of felled trees and overgrown shrubs. The home was boarded up, and the city will bill the homeowner for the work that was done. Apparently, the bear has not been seen on the property, at least at this point. And if all this information is correct in this LA Times article, this clearly was a success story. It's a great example of the importance of teamwork to re-educate our bears how to be wild by making them uncomfortable and unwelcome around our food, trash, shelter, and property. And lastly, I want to mention that our Bear Lovers team have started in the past few weeks going on Trash Talkin', which is on Trash Pickup Day, which in the canyon is Wednesday and Thursday. We go to the upper and lower canyon, and we're just talking to our neighbors, and we're asking them if they have any concerns, any challenges, any feedback for us on recycling or how to use the bins or any complications that they're having with the bins. And then on the other days of the week, we do what we call walk and talks in the other areas of Sierra Madre and also on the Mount Wilson Trail. I've had a surprising number of conversations up and down the trail with locals, and sometimes we're just talking to them about anything and everything just to get to know them. But mostly it's very focused on bear activity, concerns, safety tactics, and solutions. So thank you so much for everything you all do.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
When are your meetings so people can find you?
Well, the meetings are not like a regular, we have monthly meetings, but we kind of have to toggle around people's other appointments and work schedules and this and that. We do rotate our meetings. Sometimes it's at, in my backyard, sometimes at Mary's or Starbucks, or we do rotate the location of our meetings. But since it was our first year, Chris, I really am hoping that we can isolate a date and time, because I would love to have more people join us and be involved in our conversations.
And if people do want to join, how do they find you?
Yes, they can go to bearloverssm.com, which is our website, or bearloverssm@gmail.com.
Great. Thank you for all your service. You actually did get a shout out at the State of the City, so.
Oh, thank you so much.
Madam Mayor, the next speaker is the city's librarian, Layla Regan.
Hello, Mayor Krebs, Mayor Pro Tem Parkhurst, and our Honorable City Council. I'm Layla Regan, your friendly neighborhood city librarian, and if you didn't know, September is National Library Card Sign-Up Month. So we are doing this promo right now where you can go roll out with Optimus Prime. And this week is also Banned Books Week. So if you stop by the library, we have a photo booth set up with Optimus Prime where you can take a banned book photo with him. And I did want to touch briefly on the groundbreaking. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that attended. We had 143 attendees for that event, which is pretty amazing. And so I wanted to thank our city council for being present, our city staff for being present, our trustees, especially Susan Gallagher, our trustee Susan Gallagher, and our trustee Catherine Addy. They were able to donate and spend their time, and it was just amazing. And I also wanted to thank Dirk Boyle, who took these amazing photos at the event, and of course our Public Works Department, who was able to dump some dirt and and put up some great photo props with the front loader. They just did an amazing job. I did want to also mention that we have an upcoming fire prevention week that the library does with the fire department. So that is, Fire Prevention Week is October 6th to the 12th. And we have tons of programs we're doing with them, like a Story Times in the Bay. And we have a caregiver workshop that's going to teach infant CPR with the fire department, and a teen first aid with the fire department, and then of course our Big Pumpkin Smash, which is very popular. This will be our 4th year doing the Big Pumpkin Smash. And of course the Fire Prevention Festival on October 12th. We will be there. That being said, finally, I just wanted to mention again our Friends of the Library. The Friends of the Library really do help to support the library, and they have a book sale that is coming up Friday, October 4th and Saturday, October 5th. And there are tickets still available for their wine tasting. So just as Mayor Krebs said, Saturday, October 5th is a very busy day. We have bike ride and wellness fair, blood drive, compost event, book sale, Friends of the Library wine tasting. So
You're going to need a glass of wine at the end of the day, so
so
might as well go.
hope to see everyone at all of those events. So that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Can you remind us of the date of the pumpkin smash?
The date of the pumpkin smash is going to be Thursday, October 10th, I believe. And that's at 4 p.m. at the fire station. And it'll be really fun. We do want to thank Hastings Ranch and Monrovia Trader Joe's. They donate the pumpkins, quite a few pumpkins. It keeps growing exponentially. So it's also BYOP. So if you do have a pumpkin at home, you can bring your own pumpkin. You're welcome to do that. And it's a great event where the kids get to decorate a pumpkin, and then our wonderful firefighters take them up to their training tower and just smash them. This year's special, you can take home some pumpkin seeds afterwards. We have some teen volunteers that will be gathering pumpkin seeds and handing out care instructions.
Great. Thank you so much. Okay, I don't see our softball infiltration, so I will move on to our second proclamation and recognition tonight, which you heard a little bit about earlier in our council reports. So we wanted to the city wanted to recognize the 100th anniversary of the Passionist community at Madre de la Rosa, which was established, not surprisingly, in 1924. It was originally called Mont Olivet, and the monastery and retreat center provides a peaceful environment with sweeping views. The Passionists and the Retreat League have hosted retreats, prayer days, and spiritual programs, and they welcome over 10,000 visitors annually. In recognition of their century of service, Sierra Madre would like to present a certificate of recognition honoring their profound impact on the community. And I think Father Clemente is here. I'll read the certificate. So, in recognition of the 100th anniversary of the Passionist community at Madre de la Rosa, whereas the site of Madre de la Rosa Monastery and Retreat Center was acquired by the Passionists in 1924, originally called Mount Olivet, or Olivet, I'm not sure, commanding a sweeping view from Los Angeles Central City to the eastern limits of the San Gabriel Valley. And whereas the Passionists and Madre de la Rosa Retreat League have sponsored retreats, days of prayer, and other spiritual programs for individuals seeking a deeper relationship with God. And whereas today more than 10,000 individuals grace the retreat center and grounds annually, which include men, women, married couples, people in 12-step and AA recovery, Archdiocese of Los Angeles clergy and laypersons, high school and college students, faculty, mass participants, and visitors to special events. Therefore, be it proclaimed that we, the Sierra Madre City Council, do hereby recognize the Passionist community at Madre de la Rosa for its many good works and retreats, and offer congratulations on its 100th anniversary on this 24th day of September 2024 by the City Council, Mayor Kelly Krebs, Mayor Pro Tem Robert Parkhurst, and Council members Edward Garcia, Jean Goss, and Christine Lowe.
Mayor and City, Sierra Madre, on behalf of the Passionist community at Madre de la Rosa, we have Father Mike Higgins and Brother John from our community here with us. We also have members of our staff of Madre de la Rosa and Passionist supporters and partners. Just want to express our gratitude for this relationship that we Passionists have had over the years with Madre de la Rosa. I was first missioned here in 1972 to 75, and there were some old-timers there that would remember the great partnership that the Passionist community has with the city. Even one of them remembered the great mudslide that happened and how one of our members got on a tractor and helped move the mud out of the way. But we are always grateful for this opportunity to help our neighbors and to help and to consider you our neighbors, because we believe that this is a relationship that only gets better with age. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our consent items. Madam City Clerk, would you like to read the consent items?
Yes, ma'am, thank you. The City Council is being asked to consider a number of items on the consent calendar this evening. The first of a few is Resolution Number 24-56, approving certain demands. It is recommended that the City Council approve Resolution 24-56 and authorize city staff to make all payments on behalf of the city. Consent item B is the approval of the city's biennial conflict of interest code. It is recommended also that the City Council review and approve the conflict of interest code as required by the Political Reform Act. Consent item C is consideration of the annual AB 1600 compliance report for the fiscal year 2023 and 2024. The recommendation from city staff is that the City Council receive and file this informative report. Consent item C is a similar report. It is the consideration of AB 1600. This is the 5-year compliance report for period ending June 30, 2023. Similarly, the city staff is recommending that the City Council receive and file the Development Impact Fee 5-year compliance report for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2023. The next is consent item E. That's the second reading and adoption of ordinance of 1473, amending section 8.06.010, prohibited wear, of chapter 8.06, smoking, of title 8, health and safety of the Sierra Madre Municipal Code, regulating smoking in certain public places. It is recommended that the City Council conduct its second reading and read by title only, which we just did. And then adopt ordinance 1473. Consent item F is consideration of resolution 24-57, designating streets to be included in the fiscal year 24-25 street rehabilitation program. It is recommended that the City Council approve and adopt resolution 24-57. And Madam Mayor, that concludes my report this evening.
Thank you. Do we have any questions with respect to the consent items? How about A, the warrants? B, the conflict of interest code? C, the yearly compliance report? D, the 5-year compliance report? E, our second reading of the amending our health and safety code? F, the street designation? I actually have a question about that.
Yes, do I?
Okay, why don't you go ahead? No.
Okay. The question I have is with respect to, I think it's the circulation element that we're looking at, and the interaction between the circulation element and the streets, and kind of, there's some consideration of some intersections that I believe you've talked with us about. I'm just trying to figure out how the two work together.
Sure, that's a great question. And it should be understood that basically Resolution 2457 is a requirement for state road funds. We are looking at a project that would include a street survey and street traffic studies for 6 intersections in the city, 22 segments of road in the city, and we're looking at county funds for those circulation-oriented studies. They didn't make the cut at this most recent budget process, but that doesn't mean we've stopped looking, and we're looking at county Prop C, Measure R, Measure M, and those are actually aligned with Metro funds as opposed to what you're looking at this evening.
Thank you for that clarification.
And I just had a question about any relationship between the streets that are included as designated for improvement in this fiscal year any relationship with those streets to the water replacement, water line replacement plans? Are these separate from that? Are some of these aligned with areas that we are going to do the water projects as well?
Sure, yeah, the first one listed right there is Michelinda Sierra Keys. The whole Sierra Keys and Key Vista area was a water project. That has actually been done already, so this is kind of an extension, kind of tangent to the water main replacement. But as far as I can see, I don't know that any of the other 4 or 5 are directly related to water mains. Yeah.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. No, they are not. These are separate from SB1.
And then, so the road work that we do after the completion of a water main replacement is something separate from these particular projects? Because I know we do the street work after we've dug it up for the water project.
That is correct.
Okay.
It is one project, water main replacement, then phase 2, which is street resurfacing.
Great. All right, thank you. Thank you for that.
Just to follow up on that, so all of the streets in that area, they've had the water mains replaced, so for the next 20 years, barring unanticipated leaks, we won't have to dig up the pipes there.
I hope not.
Okay.
I hope not.
Yeah, that's the answer I was hoping for.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any further questions? All right, then I will ask for public comment for items on the consent calendar.
Madam Mayor, there are no speaker cards at this time.
Thank you. Then I will bring back for council discussion or a motion.
I move to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Great. Does anybody have an update on our softball friends? It might be, this next item might take a little longer. Okay. All right, well, let's go ahead, let's move on to our first discussion item. I think Public Works Director Inez is going to present for consideration of our general contractor award with respect to our library improvement project.
That is correct, Madam Mayor. Again, good evening. At this time, this evening tonight, I would recommend that the City Council approve Resolution 2458, amending the 24-25 fiscal year budget to include $1,800,000 from the general fund reserves for the meaningful library improvement project, and that the City Council award a professional general contractor services contract to AMG and Associates, Inc., which includes a base bid of $9,542,000. Alternative 2 in the amount of $45,000, and a 10% contingency of $960,000, for a total not to exceed $10,547,000. That concludes my presentation at this time. I will address any questions you may have.
Questions? I actually have a couple questions if nobody else does.
Yes, Madam Mayor.
So I think I know the answer to this, but I think it's important to lay this out in the record. So as everyone knows, we got a $10 million grant in 2 pieces from the State Library Board. And, obviously that was the defining amount, to budget for this project. And we have a general contractor bid coming in at approximately $9.5 million. And obviously then we're looking to take money, $1.8 million from our general fund reserves. Can you lay out, sort of the expenditures that get us from the general contractor cost, beyond the $10 million for use of the reserves, just in general terms? I don't need specific accounting, but just so people understand why we're talking about a bid that's under $10 million with $10 million in state funding, but we're still looking to use some of our reserves, and just explain the other expenditures that this will cover.
Of course, I will gladly do that. To begin with, we started with $10 million. $10 million, that includes TSK, architecture fees. That includes Vertex, general management of the construction project itself. That will also include soils report, hazardous materials report, compaction report, state and county engineering reports. All in total, a decent amount of dollars there. That will add up to the $10 million. Now we have AMG and a variety of other well-qualified contractors who came in the same ballpark, thus taking us over the $10 million.
And was the low bid of AMG at approximately $9.5 million, was that an amount that you expected, or was it a little higher than you expected?
That is, in my professional opinion, my years of experience, that is fairly what I was expecting.
Okay. And then I understand that you did a little bit of reference work with respect to AMG. Could you share with us the findings of your reference checks for that contractor?
I sure can. What we look for in a situation like this, in a project of this importance, and a project of this magnitude, is we're looking for experience. An organization that has worked with other municipalities in the area, especially Southern California. And I say Southern California because this part of the state does have some very serious construction regulation codes when it comes to earthquakes, when it comes to the topography that we have here in Sierra Madre, slanted slightly. Also the quality of dirt here. We have outstanding quality of DG quality material. Also references. I'm calling the other cities and saying, hey, did it work out for you for AMG? I'm happy to say that great neighboring cities here in the Southern California area, including the County of Ventura, recommends AMG. They would rehire them again.
And the nature of the projects that those organizations, those agencies worked with AMG on?
Libraries, community centers, and a police station.
Great. And then also, was this the type of bid where, as a governmental agency, we are compelled to award the bid to the lowest bid?
No, ma'am. And I say that because in my findings to your previous question, in my research, AMG is what we're looking for. It fits our need. And what I mean by that is their engineering approach, their construction approach, the time, the window that we have here, which again, I'm going back to the way beginning. This is key here, the window. Mm-hmm. All due respect to the other organizations, AMG will fulfill that window of work time for us.
Great. Thank you very much. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, I think so. I wasn't going to ask any, but I think for the benefit of the public record, it's good to ask some questions. And I hate to put our interim finance director, Satnam Rate, on the spot, but I see she is here. So I will just ask a couple questions, because there's really two parts here: is approving a contract, and one is talking about dipping into our reserves. So I think the first question I have regarding municipal finance policy, when we're talking about revenues and reserves, and we're talking about operating budgets and capital expenditures, what generally is the policy for municipal finance regarding capital expenditures and where that generally comes from? And we have to consider our operations because we are forecasting a deficit next year. So I want to just kind of have that question answered to help our discussion.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. We, as a public agency, a GFOA recommends 25% of expenditures that we keep in reserves. Right now, that would be just for operating expenses to cover us for shortfalls or.
So that's like a rainy day fund type.
Correct.
Type thing.
Correct. I'm sorry, what was the other part?
So the question really is it's not even that detailed. It's more about basic municipal finance or even corporate finance. As far as policy of spending reserves for operations versus spending reserves on capital expenditures.
Sure. So for our policy here is anything above 25% is we can use that for one-time expenditures, and they could be capital expenditures in nature. In the past, I believe they have used as one-time expenditures to fund pension. I believe in 18, $5 million was funded, and in 19, $2.5 million. I'm not sure how much of that hit the reserves, but those are the two I've seen where there has been why we've gone into the greater than 25%.
Thank you, it's super helpful. So now kind of expanding on that 25%. So we have a budget for this year, probably gonna spend the money this year, maybe next year, but we have a projected budget for next year as well. It's my understanding that was presented. Thinking of the 25% policy, and really, I guess it's a soft policy. It's something we've been trying to do in the city. I think it's been to keep at least 50% of our general fund expenditures in reserves. If we dip into our reserves for this capital expenditure, where we projected to sit on reserves in the general fund relative to our general fund expenditures? Is it over the 50% hurdle?
It will be over the 50%. This is based on projected numbers. If we have a flat year next year for 24-25, our 25% minimum would be about 4.3 million, and our excess of 25% of our reserves would be about 6 million for. That would give us about 62%, which we would still be in good standing. Anywhere from 25 to 75, it's considered low moderate risk for agencies like ourselves. Prior to October 2023, they had a dashboard for high-risk auditors. California State Auditor had a dashboard where they listed all the cities and their rankings. Apparently, they stopped doing that as of last October because they're putting their human resource or human capital to other tasks. And I think for us, as long as we're within the above 50, I feel safe.
That's very helpful. I think that's all I have, because it goes to that specific question. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and real quickly, I know when Director was speaking, you had asked about some of the expenses. The larger expenses were for Vertex, which was budgeted at 532. TSK, who's a project manager, was budgeted at 901,000. And odds and ends for Wildan and permitting and et cetera was about 435. And to that, if you add the 547 from today, that'll get us to the 12.4 total, of which 10 is being funded by the grant, and about 669,000 is being funded by ARPA, half ARPA and half library fund. So that's how we got to a shortfall of $1.8 million.
Thank you, that's really helpful.
So one of the alternatives that's on here, and this is actually for Director Junez, is alternative 5, the EV charging electrical. So if we don't choose that option, will we be closing off the opportunity to put a EV charging at the library?
No, sir. What I mean by that is that based on working with Vertex and working with TSK, this stage, the design can be altered as far as that section of the southern part of the project, the parking lot. We will, for example, instead of having that concrete parking area there or that concrete sidewalk, it'll be replaced with landscape. And we're able to move the walkway slightly to the right, slightly to the left, to make way for future installation of those panels or groundwork that needs to be taken down. We're not closing the door because we're starting from scratch here. It's a great opportunity to take advantage of the future, if that makes sense.
So if we were able to find additional funding for it, if we were able to get a grant or something like that that could go towards that, then it'd be very easy to add that in.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, I will then open it up for public comment on this item.
Madam Mayor, we have a speaker card from Rob Stockley. We also received an email earlier, and that was from Lee Gluck, and that was forwarded to the City Council for consideration earlier today.
There was a second email as well on this topic.
Oh, yes, you're right. And then, yes, you're right, Madam Mayor. There was another email that was received from Ellen Hoffman.
Thank you. Former Mayor Stockley.
I bet you're surprised to see me here tonight.
I've seen a lot of you. We've done a lot of library stuff lately.
First of all, I want to start off by congratulating the mayor pro tem, the council, city administration for getting us to this point. It's an impressive process of getting ducks lined up and getting everything to the point where you have a decision to make. So I congratulate you, and I also want to thank you for getting the city to this point. So I think you were sort of touching on things that I was going to touch on, Councilmember Garcia. It's great to use other people's money, and the state has given us some of their money. And one way you can look at this is we are getting a 12 million plus renovation of the library and only having to put in 15% of that. That's pretty good. That's really leveraging your resources. And that's the way we get things done here. That's how we were able to replace 2 water reservoirs, build a water filtration system, is using other people's money and putting in our portion. So there's a history of doing it this way, and I'm glad that you have the opportunity to do it once again. I think this is just one of those rare opportunities, and I encourage you to seize it. And thank you again.
Thank you.
I have no other speaker cards, Madam Mayor.
Great, thank you. So I will bring it back to council for discussion. Anybody want to start? Maybe our representative to the Library Board of Trustees?
Sure, why not? You know, I don't want to be too lighthearted about this. This is a lot of money coming out of reserves. But you know, for years I've been on the council, and truthfully, the library has not really ever been a priority. It's not for bad or nefarious reasons. We've just had other priorities. And tonight we have an opportunity to tell the community that the library is a priority. It's a very important priority, and we want our community to have the best library we can afford. And I think that this, first of all, I think the contractor is fine. I'll accept the judgment of our Public Works Director. And I think spending a 1.8 trillion, 1.8 trillion might be a tad high.
If only we had that to spend.
I hate it when that happens.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah. I think it's like Mr. Stockley says, as former Mayor Stockley says, it's a very good investment of our money, and I think I'm going to vote for it. And I want the public to know I'm doing it because I think our library should be a priority.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I think that at the groundbreaking, the Library Foundation representative, president of the Library Foundation, really put it well that your libraries are the last places that everything is equitable. You have resources, it builds community, it's a center in the heart of your community. And I have to say that, you know, growing up in Sierra Madre, the library was where we were able to get resources that we couldn't get anywhere else. Any family could come, anybody can come. It's a place of not just quietness, but it's also a place where you have activities that help build community, and seniors and other people get to learn, and it's free. And so with that free opportunity that we offer our residents, we're only putting in the 1.8 million, and we had so much granted thanks to prior council for applying and staff and creating that to happen. And I think that's what our community's done so well through the years, and with the foundation and with the Friends of the Library taking care of so much of the interior, with this being the exterior project, I think that it's just a representative of Sierra Madre all put together.
Yeah, so some of the comments I have, I'm thinking back to when I was onboarding as a council member, questions I had for the then city manager, and the library was one of those issues that we were considering. There was a survey that went out. We're going to do kind of a Band-Aid project, a meaningful improvement, or a whole new building. I'm grateful that that process happened, because I think that was one of the most important pieces to our grant application, is that we had really a shovel-ready project that we can send up to Sacramento and show that, hey, there's not only a need, we've done our due diligence and we do need this money. At that time, and there would have been a lot of pencil sharpening to do, was my understanding we were going to fund that 5 to 7 million out of general fund reserves and or revenues. I wasn't really sure how that was going to happen, but I'm glad that we were able to get a grant to then exceed that, because obviously we've had a ton of inflation since the year 2000, 2001. Yeah, it puts my mind at ease that we're able to dip into our reserves at that amount. And as our interim finance director said, generally, when we think about reserves versus revenue, the reserves are obviously an accumulation of surpluses. That's what you use in order to finance capital expenditure projects. And it's not what you use for ongoing operations, because it doesn't backfill if you're not going to run surpluses. But I feel we're at a comfortable level, keeping our reserves at potentially over 60% of our expenditures, when our policy is 25%. And this is for a project that's a long time coming. So I wholeheartedly support this, and like Councilmember Goss, I do take our staff's recommendation for the contractor, and I'd be happy to approve this. This has been a long time coming.
Mayor Pro Tem.
So communities are judged by their libraries. If you think about it, and anywhere you go in the world, it is the libraries that end up being a foundation of a community or society. And it's no different here. Our library was one of the first in LA County. It's shown the leadership that we've got. We've tried to do this 7 times, 8 times? 7 times. Tried to do this 7 times. We're able to do it now. We're able to exceed, as Councilmember Garcia said, our initial vision of $5 to $7 million. This makes a lot of sense. I think some people may think that in this digital age we don't need libraries. I think libraries are still a part of the community. There's a part of the education. If we did all of our education online and we just plugged into our computers, we'd be missing something. We'd be missing the richness, the interaction, the depth, the context. That's what libraries bring. They bring new skills, looking at things in different ways, and a host of resources, not the least of which are our staff and volunteers that really help enrich this community. And so that's the reserves, and I really appreciate Councilmember Garcia's depth on the budget and looking at how we can fund this and how this continues to make fiscal sense for a one-time capital expenditure. I'm in support of it. I think it makes a whole lot of sense.
Thanks to you all. I won't add. I agree with everything that you've said. I think I would put a slightly different spin on something that Councilmember Garcia said, because we actually were coming onto council at the same time, and there were lots of discussions about what the path forward was going to be with the library, and a lot of stakeholders in town had differing views, and I think there was a consensus reached around having some amount of improvements or upgrades. I mean, frankly, the roof is been needing to be replaced for a long time. We've had seismic issues. I mean, just very basic bone structure problems, let alone expansion. And we did, as a council, in that sort of 2000 to 2022 timeframe, actually budget, frankly, somewhere in the neighborhood of $1.8 million over a couple of years to do just the basic things to make the building, keep the building safe and make it habitable, let alone all of the amazing upgrades that we're going to be able to do now. So that's one reason why I thought, this is money that we had anticipated spending, probably out of the general fund, to do just the bare minimum. And so the idea that we could basically keep it at steady state and then get what we're going to get is really, to me, the way I think about it. And I will take one issue with former Mayor Stockley's point. The state did not give us its money. The state is giving us back our money. So I just want to highlight one thing from the groundbreaking that I think also echoes a number of comments tonight. I really appreciated Assemblymember Holden's point that this is an example of asking for what you need. And even if it seems like maybe you're asking for too much, because sometimes you actually get what you ask for. And if we had been conservative, which we definitely discussed, if we had been conservative here, we would have gotten a much lower amount and we'd be talking about a very different project. So I thought that was a good life lesson. Ask what you need for and don't be afraid to say that's to stand behind it and that's what you need. And then we got it, so it was great. And I will say one more thing on the notion of using our reserves, because there's been a lot of talk about our projected deficit, and want to make it clear that there's a difference between the deficit and the operating side of our budget and using reserves. We would not excited about using reserves to fill an operating deficit, but I also look at this as using some of our reserves to improve an asset that the city owns. And so to the extent that you're talking about true just dollars and cents in accounting, using the money to make improvements on an asset, along with lots of other money from outside sources, the balance sheet of the city per se is actually probably improving because the value of our assets are going up. So from a true dollars and cents standpoint, I think it leaves the city in actually better financial state, even though from a dollar standpoint, it looks like we're depleting some of our cash assets. So I just want to make that technical point. Not that I'm an accountant, but I think that's also important to point out. So I think we know where this is going, but I would entertain a motion.
I'd like to make that motion.
I think it is
To award the bid contract to AMG and Associates, not exceeding $10,547,000 for professional general contractor services, and adopt resolution 24-58 amending 2024-2025 fiscal year budget. So moved.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Yay.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, if I may, the president of AMG company is here.
Super excited to see you. Yes, please.
Mr. Albert Giacomazzi. Sir.
Well, Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem and council members, just want to let you know how excited we are to be coming to Sierra Madre. We are a large public works contractor. This is what we do. We're currently finishing up a fire station for Rancho Cucamonga, city of Rancho Cucamonga, and I paid close attention to your 9/11 ceremony that you had recently. Well, as part of our project, we are building a 9/11 Memorial Park. And as part of that project, the city of Rancho Cucamonga was able to get some of the structural steel columns that came down.
Oh, wow.
And so we're building this memorial park and erecting some of these steel columns that came from the World Trade Center.
Wow.
So it'll be finished after the first of the year, but it's a highlight to the fire station, and this memorial park is right next to it. Additionally, we're doing a new library and lecture hall for the city of Newport Beach. So we are probably 20% completed on the project so far. What's unique about that is the new project is right next to City Hall. So we have 100 of sidewalk superintendents commenting on our work. But we do work all over Southern California. I will be visiting this project periodically. I was talking with your Director of Public Works and also with Vertex, and just figuring out our game plan working forward. But I just want to let you know personally that we are very much looking forward to working with you folks.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your comments. I look forward to Sierra Madre being included in the next time you get a contract and talking about the special features of our library.
Yeah. But if you have any questions, happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you for being here today.
I guess the only thing I would say, just because there's one aspect of this project that didn't get quite as much attention tonight, you have no concerns about the timeline, right?
We were talking about that a little bit earlier. It's 262 working days. You convert that, it's 367 calendar days. It's a little bit of an aggressive schedule, but we're here to meet those demands.
Great, thank you so much.
I hear it very loud and clear how important this project is, and so I understand that very clearly.
Great, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, bring in the crowd.
I know.
Release the hounds.
This poor guy's.
Grand entrance.
No, we needed background
Yeah.
music.
Do you have music, Russ?
We
Yes. Yeah, have them come sit up front. Oh, that's too
Okay.
good.
Oh, you're on TV.
Fill the chambers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Great support.
There's plenty of seats down here over on the side.
Sides.
Should do, oh yeah, all the presentations. That's a good idea. Okay, thank you, and thank you for being patient as we finished up our last item. It's my honor to be here tonight and congratulate this amazing Sierra Madre Girls Softball Association 14U team and all of their remarkable achievements. They actually won their B Division National Championship. So let's give a my notes say the victory is testament to the hard work and dedication and teamwork, but I'm sure it's just not that victory. It's a whole season long and a whole tournament long and all of the practices and long hours and parental support that you've had from beginning to end. I'm sure you had lots of nail-biting games, lots of late nights, lots of long practices, and so I really commend you on your success. It's really not just a testament to your talent, but just the perseverance and hard work and belief in each other. Each of you has given your best off and on the field, and today you've earned the right to call yourselves champions. So you did it all on the field, but I know you know that there were so many things going on behind you to support you, both your amazing coaches, the board members of your league, and of course your family who have played such an essential role in your journey. The dedication that all of those adults put to this task, the development of your athletic ability, your skill, your character, obviously those are extraordinary efforts. And the time and energy and passion that all of these adults have poured into your team, I hope that you understand how lucky you are and how amazing that is, that this amount of time and energy and effort has gone into supporting you as you have performed so well in the field. So you should be proud of your milestone, and I'm sure you're looking on to the next one. You've made your community, your league, and each other so proud. And to the coaches, staff, board members of the Girls Softball Association, thank you so much for your leadership and your support of our city, too, and our amazing facilities. And I am a legacy Little League family, and I have to say that the relationship between the Softball Association and the Little League, the development of that has been such an amazing thing, and I'm very, very proud of that, that was able to come to fruition. I'm very happy that that's where we stand today. So congratulations again to you. You are a shining example of excellence, and we cannot wait to see what is next on your tournament schedule. And with that, I have quite the stack of certificates to give out, so I'm going to come up to the podium. I think I'm going to ask maybe one of your coaches to come up and help me give these out, and then we'll have you come up and we'll take a picture. Or Russ. And, I mean, let's give a special round of applause to Mr. Meek.
Thank you so much for the kind words. I'm Coach Vinny Pagan, and I have my fellow coaches here, Coach Tom Acker, Coach Lacey Shaver, and Coach Tom Sullivan, who's fortunately but unfortunately not here tonight because Quinn's pitching for Arcadia High School. So, but we really genuinely appreciate the love and support that you guys have put behind us to have this event. It's been kind of a long time coming. We wanted to present you guys with a gift, personally, so you guys could put it up in the office. It's basically a picture of our team when we were at Nationals at Everett, Washington. Everybody signed it, and on the back is pictures of the girls. Again, 8 of them have been in the league since 6U, 2 of them since 10U, and then 2 of them had just recently heard the greatness of softball in Sierra Madre, and they joined this past year. But again, we've been dedicated families, community, and we wanted to present this to you guys so you guys will always remember the Sierra Madre threats whenever you guys walk these halls. And we wore the Sierra Madre jersey proud throughout this all-star historic run, and we wanted to present you guys with this so you guys can hang it up in your offices and whatnot. So.
Hall of Fame.
For now. All right, we'll start off with our players. And I'm going to let you do the announcing, actually.
Oh, yeah?
You probably know the...
Or Vinny, do you want to do the announcing? Yeah? All right. All right, first one up is Leighton Acker. Aria Davis. Christina Karoglian. Jaya Long. Yeah.
Just so everybody knows what certificates they're getting, first of all, I have to say I think we have the best certificates of any organization. It is a certificate of recognition from the city of Sierra Madre, and it has each girl's name in recognition of winning the 2024 14U USA Softball B Division National Championship, presented this 24th day of September 2024 by the Sierra Madre City Council, myself, Mayor Kelly Krebs, Mayor Pro Tem Robert Parkhurst, and council members Edward Garcia, Jean Goss, and Christine Lowe. And this is for Layla Loya.
Natalia Nolasco. Yasmin Nunez. Havana Pagan. Camila Reyes Chacon. Jaden Shaver. Kayla Wu. And that one's Quinn Sullivan, can't be here. Sure.
So we also have certificates for our very important manager and coaches. So let's call up Mr. Pagan again. Coach Acker. Coach Shaver. And then this is Coach Sullivan. We'll go with Quinn's.
Thank you.
So, you guys need to let's bring up the council. Maybe turn a little bit inward. Jen and the city council.
Everyone's taking pictures. You know what? Real quick, let's get Eddie Medrano up there as well, because so Eddie Medrano, we wanted to recognize specially. He was an executive board member who, with Vinny and a lot of the effort of the parents, but especially these guys, helped build the league to what it is today. So Eddie, I'm going to embarrass you. I got hardware for you too. Thank you. A lot of hours, sleepless nights, a lot of drama that we fought through to make it what it is. So thank you, man. You deserve to be there.
Ready, 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, okay. All right. Do we want to announce them?
Sure we can.
Do you want to do it, or do you want me to do it?
You can, sure.
So we do have some other board members that we also wanted to recognize. I understand they're not here tonight, but I do want to read out their names so that everybody understands the efforts and hard work that they've put into all of the success of this league and this team. That would be board member Brooke Gomez. And then board member Jamie Covey. Carol Silberberg. And so thank you all for being here, and thank you for accommodating our schedule. Good luck on your next adventures. And you're welcome to stay, or
Unless you want to review budgets and such.
no.
Hey, thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
So not at all anticlimactically, but we do have one more discussion item. And I think, again, we're going to bring up Director Yanez.
Mayor, I'll be
Oh.
presenting on behalf of City Manager Reynos.
Oh, okay, thank you. I don't think your mic is on.
It's on.
It's on?
I don't know if his is on.
Oh.
Yeah.
You want to go to the podium, maybe?
Yeah, I can go.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. At the September 10th council meeting, the City Council directed staff to explore options for improving communications regarding the Sierra Madre Library Improvement Project. In response, staff proposes forming an ad hoc committee to ensure all major stakeholders remain informed throughout the project's progress, which is scheduled for completion by March of 2026. The City Council will appoint 2 council members to the committee, while all other advisory bodies, including the Library Board of Trustees, Friends of the Sierra Madre Library, and the Sierra Madre Library Foundation, will appoint their own representative. The committee's primary function will be to provide regular updates of key project milestones and foster transparency among stakeholders without direct oversight of the construction process. By establishing this committee, we aim to ensure clear, consistent, and timely information sharing throughout the construction period. This approach will help align all groups involved and minimize the risk of miscommunication contributing to the successful completion of the project. Lastly, this committee would not meet the requirements for the Brown Act, therefore it will not be subject to the Act's requirements. And that concludes the presentation.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions?
Do we have any understanding of the frequency of the meetings? Is it going to be monthly, weekly, twice a month?
That information I don't have. I'm assuming it would be at least once a month to meet and report out after the meeting. Director Yanez might have more information on that in terms of the frequency of the meetings.
Thank you, Assistant City Manager. My recommendation will be once a month. That is the current process I have now, and that is with the Library Board of Trustees. I do meet with you folks twice a month, but again, my recommendation would be once a month. And from an engineering construction perspective, monthly reports that I will be receiving from AMG, TSK, and Vertex will be monthly. So, makes sense once a month.
Thank you. Any other questions? I think we can discuss some of the parameters or our thoughts about it. So, so then I will open it up for public comment.
There are no speaker cards, nor did we receive any emails from the city clerk's office.
Okay, so I will.
Madam Clerk, didn't we receive one of the comments, I think, did address?
Yes.
Yes.
Both agenda items.
Yeah, both agenda items, yeah.
Yes.
So we did get feedback on it.
Yes, I think Trustee Gluck had both the
Yes,
contract.
there was that email that was forwarded. It contained comments on a couple of the different discussion items.
Yes.
And there was an email including comment for that.
Thank you. All right, so seeing no further public comment, I will bring it back for discussion. I think we can include in this discussion both sort of, if people want to talk about their, their thoughts or their position on the staff recommendation, but also I think we can talk a little bit more about, people's thoughts on, functionality, logistics, membership, things like that. So I'm happy to start. I mean, I was at the Library Trustees meeting last night, which, to me sort of was an ad hoc, basically the meeting of this committee. I mean, it with the trustees, there were representatives from the Friends and from the foundation there, as well as I was there as on behalf of the council. So I mean, my sense of the way this would work is it would essentially be a similar monthly meeting with the sole focus around the improvement project. I know the librarian expressed an interest in participating, and so whether that's as a formal member or a standing reporter on the agenda, either way, I sort of view this as a forum for dissemination of information and as well as having some discussion function. So I am happy to hear that the Brown Act, is not applied, so there can be a free-flowing discussion. So we don't have to agendize things up front. So those are my thoughts. I think the other things that were mentioned at the trustees was that I think folks would appreciate the ability to attend virtually. So maybe we could have kind of a hybrid, in-person, virtual options so that we can increase attendance and accessibility. And then I think it's important to note that I think that this would then, I think to Director Yanez's point, essentially replace his monthly report to the Board of Trustees, because the idea would be that the trustee representative on this committee would then report back at the trustees meetings. So that's sort of how I see it, but I'm happy to entertain other thoughts.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, please.
I see it exactly the same way. I'm happy to volunteer if it be the pleasure of the council, since I'm already the liaison.
That would be great. I am in favor of that, and I appreciate others' thoughts on that, and if there's another council member who would like to volunteer.
Yeah, I think, especially since there's different modes, attendance potentially. I think it might work into my schedule. I just have one evening in my current teaching schedule that's very, very rough. That'd be Wednesday nights. But other than that, yeah, I think this would be something I'd like to join on to as well.
Great. Anybody else have thoughts or comments?
I appreciate Councilmembers Goss and Garcia stepping forward and being a part of this. I think it is an important thing. I think it's a great way to make sure we're all on the same page and a common forum, kind of a spoken, a hub and spoke type of thing. It's all the information's there and can go out to all of the different organizations in the city to make sure that everyone stays up to speed on it. So I think the one thought I have on it is just to make sure that we get good communication on when the meeting is and make sure, I don't know if we would do notes or anything on it, but somehow having some standard report out. I don't know if it's the monthly report or something like that, something that maybe we use the monthly report that everybody gets so that there's a common place for the comments so that everybody has a common reference point. So
I'm also happy to have, as much as I think the Transportation Subcommittee did, have the committee themselves have some agency over how they function and how they want to set up their logistics. So I'm happy to sort of have the committee also use that forum to discuss how they think it can be best best achieved. The goals can be best achieved. And I do agree that it would be good, if not formal minutes, to have some, sort of takeaway notes that everyone can then, since everyone will be then going back to their respective bodies and reporting out from the meeting, it would be good to have a consistent sort of takeaway notes. And so maybe that's sort of the last item on the agenda for each meeting, is to sort of develop the handful of talking points for folks to report back in that same theme of consistent and constant communication. So, okay, yes, please.
Bob Stockley and other members of the foundation and the friends and everybody for really promoting this and bringing it forth is a great idea.
And everyone should be ready to open their checkbooks, because the groundbreaking is an amazing, but it also opened the fundraising period for all of the other accompanying expenses. Everything we've talked about tonight is the exterior of the building and the bones of the building, the outside. Everything else in terms of furniture, fixtures, equipment, we will need to rely on our very generous neighbors and friends to help fund that. And so there will be, I think, more to come on those efforts, but folks should be thinking about their legacy and in Sierra Madre, and perhaps that includes the library. Okay, so I will, maybe we should do this in two phases, maybe one motion to establish the committee, and then maybe a separate motion to appoint our council members.
I make a motion that we form an ad hoc committee for the library meaningful improvement project communication. And do I make a second motion?
Let's do this one, all right, let's do this one first.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great.
And then I will make a motion that to have council members Goss and Garcia serve on that committee on behalf of the council.
Do we state who else is also a member of that committee?
No, I think they're gonna appoint their own folks.
Not the people, but which groups and entities we want on that?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I think, right, the Library Board of Trustees representative, the Friends of the Sierra Madre representative, and the Foundation representative.
And is that, so to me, I thought that was part of the first.
Yeah, probably.
Oh,
but
okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
It wasn't in there, so I didn't.
Okay, so then I will amend my motion that to have representatives, one representative of the Friends, one representative of the Foundation, and one representative of the board, two from the council, and those being council members Goss and Garcia.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great. We have an ad hoc committee and most of its members, so. All right, wrapping up,
Mayor, if I may?
Oh, yes, please.
I apologize. And just for the record and for clarification, I'm sitting there thinking, should any construction issues arise, whether it be architecture, engineering, whatever the case may be, I will not wait a month to provide you with that information.
Yes.
Please know that that information will be immediate. I will let my city manager, Mr. Reynoso, know immediately, thus leading for this council to know also immediately.
And yeah, completely understood. And I think this committee is not meant to override, other communication protocols, as you mentioned. It's mainly so there can be a standing meeting where folks are getting the same message at the same time. And those I would expect to be the regular updates and not sort of the extraordinary ones that you're talking about. And certainly the subcommittee can also decide to convene if there is something of note in between meetings. So
That's just out of control. Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. And then in terms of looking forward, any items to be agendized for future meetings? I think I'm gonna renew the call, just given the last couple weeks and what we have coming up, for a exploration of a community calendar. So I know we've talked about it from time to time, but I'd like to just sort of put that back on. It doesn't have to be an immediate goal, but sort of what we might do as a city, or partner with other organizations in the city to figure out what we can do to have some sort of communal calendar. I think these last events, and even today when we have announcements and then people come up and announce more events, and we can't have sort of one person be in control of all of the calendar for the community. We need to have something, I think, a repository that all organizations can contribute to, and so we don't have to rely on hearing through the grapevine things that are happening. So anyway, not an urgent thing, and there are other urgent items I think to consider, but just to put that back on the rotation for consideration.
Noted. Thank you.
Anything else? All right, well, what motion it's time for?
To adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And we are adjourned. Thank you all.
7:09.
Even with two presentations.